Hello gamers, it's SoftKitty99 in Parkitect. In the last couple of episodes we looked at Batavia Cay and Ice Shelf Islands. So now let's take a look at HappyCo Harbour. HappyCo Amusement Rides Division invites you to redevelop this disused industrial harbour into a star amusement park. The company plans to use this site to showcase new attractions and developments, so be sure guests don't get to see all those industrial structures. Scenario: have at least 3 coasters in your park with an excitement rating of 50 or higher, have a decoration rating of at least 80%, have at least 600 guests in your park, and the optional to get the gold medal. Complete all non-optional goals by the end of May Year 3, and I got the gold medal, yay! So let's take a look at the park that I built for this scenario, HappyCo Harbour. So if we zoom out a little bit, you can see that we are at the harbour, look, because we've got this beautiful little ship docked on the harbour with all the crates on the outside. And if you look at the border right along the edge here and down here, so we've only got this little tiny square, so we can practically get the whole thing look in one screenshot. In fact, let's take the screenshot of the whole thing there like that. So the requirement was to build 3 roller coasters, so we've got 1 roller coaster here and 1 here. I built that right in the water so that we could maximise the space, and then I built an out and back Woody in the back area here. So we've got 3 roller coasters. But just as a good point or a tip, the go-kart track that you can see here, the game actually will count the go-kart track as a roller coaster, so if you are struggling to fit 3 roller coasters in, you might be able to get away with using a go-kart track instead of, because it can use a smaller footprint. And the go-kart track that you can see here is one of the pre-built models that we've got in the game already. But with your roller coasters, you really are probably going to have to build your own to fit the gaps. They might be able to use, in fact I think that this one that's in the water is a pre-built track that I didn't build for myself. So let's zoom in and take a closer look at the park. So if we come right down here, HappyCo Harbour, this is the entrance to our park, and in the end I've got quite a low entrance price to try and encourage as many people through the door as I possibly could. So we've got $4.50 as my entrance fee. So if you look at the park rating, I've got happiness of 100%, which is absolutely wonderful. I'm really happy about that. And if we look at the goals, have at least 3 coasters in your park with an excitement rating of 50 or above. So it's not just 3 coasters, they've got to have an excitement rating of 50 or above. So you've got to be careful about that when you're building your roller coasters and finding the space to build all the things in your park as well. Have a decoration rating of at least 80%, which is a little bit difficult because around the edge of the park, as you could see, was all sort of industrial old buildings, cranes and things, which make the guests a little bit unhappy when they can see them. So try and build things to block the sight lines around the edge. So look, I've got fencing around the edge here. I've got this red fencing to kind of block out the sight lines to outside of the park wherever you possibly can, and 600 guests. So those are the goals. I'll zoom just a tiny bit more out. So right here at the entrance, this is the goods receiving depot where all your stuff comes in. So right next to the entrance I've put in an information kiosk, and I did charge $1.50 for the park maps. People seem to be really happy about that, 93.5% rating. So we've sold 740, so the park maps are really a good way to make a little bit of money. We've got the toilet right behind the info kiosk, and as soon as you walk through the park we've got a queue for a drop tower. People seem to really like the drop tower, and the drop towers are really good because they've got quite a small footprint, so that's a really good thing to pop into your park. Over here, look, we have our shops. Let's zoom down just a little bit, the shops, and we've also popped a cash machine just in the corner of the shops to maximise the space here. And as you can see, we've got the top of a staff room. So if I hide scenery, you can take a look at what I've done under here. So you've got the goods receiving depot right here. So I've built us a little staff path with access into the park for the staff. Stuck our staff room in here with the door in that direction. I've also put in a couple of park benches because I did that before I could afford the staff room, so that they've got somewhere to sit and rest. We've got a medical room. We've got soft drinks, pizza, cash machine outside the building, umbrellas, ice cream and balloons. So I've used every shop that we managed to get here, you see, and then we've built it all in this bright pink, bright building to try and lift the spirits and make everything a little bit sparkly and different. And where's our janitor? Too tired to work. Okay, well, I was just going to say I'll move someone to do this, but they're too tired to work at the moment, so we won't. We'll leave that for them. Oh, he's tired. Go to the staff room, little robot. You look very tired. Off you go. Bye bye. Go have a little rest. I think we might want an extra janitor wandering around here. Look, because we need to clear up some of that. There we go. Now we've got some money, we can afford a new janitor. That's it. Good guy. You get on with the job for us. There's a good guy. Right, so let's turn this. Oh gosh, those toilets look disgusting. I think you better get those cleaned, guys. That's horrible. There you go. Come on, clean them, please. Thank you. Nice. Right, so let's zoom out again a little bit. Right, so the entrance is here. You come in here, you can get into the drop tower, get your park map, see where the space is for coming to buy your food and drink and stuff. Then right next to there, in front of the shops, we have our Gravitron. And I've kept a lot of bright colours on all of the rides in here to make it bright and shiny. And up at the side here, look, I've added some ivy in little boxes to hide the outdoor industrial area from the edge. I've also added a few trees down the side here wherever there's a little gap from packaging the rides. So we've packaged the rides really carefully here. We've got an observation tower right next to the Gravitron. We've had to pack really closely the rides here because we've not got much space. And then just behind the observation tower we have our jumper, and then right behind that we've got a G-lock right in front of the start of our Woody, and we've tucked in another toilet right in this corner. As you can see, we've tried to pack in as many bits of greenery everywhere that we can. So I've got a few trees in this little gap, stuck flowers in all the tiny little gaps that we can make, and made sure all the flower beds and things are quite small so that we can pack as many rides in as possible, because we've got such a small amount of space. Look, and then I've run this red fence all the way around the edge to try and block off the sight of these boxes and these cranes that we've got here, because the people inside the park don't like to see these. And then we've got a little station, very simple station building here for our wood coaster. Panic loop, so we did use a pre-built coaster. And then right next to here we've got another Skyfall, another drop tower. Again, that's a great addition to the park because of these really small footprints for these drop towers. So things like this are really great in tiny parks when you've got a small amount of space. So anytime you grab a small ride like the drop towers, they're a great thing to drop into your parks. So you come across here, we've got the long wooden coaster all the way along the back of the park. And if you look at the excitement rating for the wooden coaster, it's 57.3%, so we need them all to be above 50%. Opposite our wooden coaster we have an Enterprise. This is actually a really big ride. I had trouble finding space to fit that into the park because we've got such little space. Right in front of that we've got the classic carousel, which again is fairly small footprint for the ride. So we've got these little queues, look, just packing in short queue lines wherever we can fit them. Next to the carousel we've got our really compact Enchanted Races. That's one of the pre-built models because it's such a tightly packed little loop of a racetrack for the go-karts. I was wondering how I could possibly fit in the go-karts, so we used that pre-built one because it's such a small footprint. Look, and we can manage to stick the queue line sort of underneath the front of this track, so it fits quite well in this tiny park where you really don't have space to fit anything. And then, so what we've got here is like a big square. So we've packed 2 big rides next to 2 tiny rides so that we can compress as much as we can into the space that we've got. Look, next to it we've got the twister, look, and then this little 1 square, look, to add some greenery here, and 1 square to add some greenery here, and then 1 square at this corner here, and 1 square here between the rides. So we've stuck in as much greenery as we can in the smallest amount of space. So we've got a little 1 square there and a little 1 square there to add the decoration rating as quickly and as high as we possibly can. And over this side we've added a couple more flower beds, and a few more shops here. Look, we've got the pizza, cotton candy and balloons here in this little one. So if I rotate around a bit more so you can see the front again, we've used that pink for all of the concession stands and toilets, and we've added a vending machine over here, look, underneath the coaster, so we've tried to compress the space as much as possible. If I hide the scenery for you here, you can see that we've added just the goods in yard, just some benches for the staff to be able to have a rest here because we just don't have space to add another restroom for the staff, a staff room. And then we've got the rides across here, look, so we've got pizzas, soft drinks, cotton candy, balloons and umbrellas. So we've compressed as much stuff into a small amount of space as we possibly can. So this is kind of underneath the ride here. And I think it actually looks really nice. I like the fact that these buildings are really simple, so they're kind of an industrial theme to stay with the industrial theme of the area that the park's in, but we've added that bright pink pop to the area, so it just makes it so much more cheerful, and I just think it really looks good. I'm very, very pleased with that, and all these bright colours on all the rides make the queue lines match the bright colours of each of the rides, adds character and a bit of individuality to it. We managed to stick in another cash machine right here, right next to the path. A couple of squares of garden again. Like I said, the vending machine's underneath the coaster over here, look. And then the exit just comes around this corner, right next to the vending machine, so we can have that little tiny patch of greenery right here. And then the queue line goes up into here. It's the Space Trainer 4000. That's the model of the coaster that I managed to fit in here. So it's mostly in the water. I haven't used any water rides here. We've used the water space for a coaster, just so that it gave us as much bang for our buck as we could. The excitement factor of this one is 66. This is one of the pre-built rides in the game again. And we've got another drop tower, the Gyro drop tower here. So again, that's 3 drop towers we've got in this little park because, oh, look at the small footprint. These are the smallest rides. It's absolutely great for when you've got no space to put things. And then we've added a little bit of greenery here, and as much greenery as we possibly can around the final one of our 3 roller coasters here. And the final roller coaster, oh no, that's the drop tower one. That's the final roller coaster, yes it is, the Blue Surge. So I've used 3 patterns of pre-built coasters, so it is possible to do this using the pre-built coasters. You just have to look for ones that have small footprints and will actually fit in the space that you've got. So if you use the 3 that I've used, you give you enough space to fit everything in, and the excitement for this one is 56.8%. And then we are back to the entrance. Let me just show you the way we've done the queue line here for this final coaster. We've got a little patch of green here and here again. We go up to a higher line here, so we can add a little bit of greenery at the side here and a few tulips around the side of the line here, and we've got a pretty little garden here with a log and a bush and a few tulips and a little mushroom, just to try and add as much as we can. And just like I say, the stations are very basic, simple, kind of look a bit like cargo container boxes, so I've just kept that idea of the industrial theme and the harbour and the dock in the way that we've done the little buildings in the place for the stations and for the concession stands and the toilets and everything, so it all kind of fed off that theme and style of working. So let me zoom back out again so that you can see the park and just see how much we've managed to pack into this little space. So we've got the scary coaster here over the water. I think the interaction with the water actually adds a lot to it. And this way, of course, you can just see water, so it's not such a bad skyline for people to see. And we've got so as many trees as we can next to our big coaster here at the front, and added a fence all the way along to try and block off the view of the road. And we've got 1, 2, 3 different types of drop tower and an observation tower, because all 4 of those rides have got quite small footprints, especially the 3 drop towers. The observation tower takes about the same space, I think, as the carousel or the Gravitron, and they're all quite small rides as well, those 3. And then you get some slightly bigger rides I've managed to fit in, the G-Lock and the Enterprise and the go-karts. That model of go-kart track is really cool for these parks where you've not got that much space to fit things in, because it fits in a lot of go-track kart for a small space. I'm quite proud of that actually, because when I saw the amount of space we got to work with, I was really concerned that we weren't going to be able to fit everything in, but I think it's worked out really, really well. So I hope you've enjoyed today's episode, and I hope you liked the park that I managed to put together for HappyCo Harbour, and good luck with your own playthrough of the scenario. I will see you in the next one. From SoftKitty99, goodbye and happy gaming!